So you want to grow on YouTube, right? Well, you're up against a pretty huge challenge. How do you possibly stand out when millions of videos are being uploaded every single day? We've gone through the best advice from hundreds of professional YouTubers to build a playbook for success. Okay, let's dive right in.
First, let's just set the stakes here. In the minute it takes me to say this, over 2,500 videos will be uploaded to YouTube. That's more than 2 million videos a day. The competition is absolutely staggering, which is why your strategy has to be a whole lot smarter than just hitting upload.
And this, right here, is the fundamental mindset shift you have got to make. Unlike platforms that just kind of feed you content, YouTube is a decision platform. Viewers are actively choosing what to watch. So before you can ever win their watch time, you first have to win their click.
To break all this down, we've organized the playbook into 4 key sections. First, we'll talk about winning that all-important click. Then, we'll get into crafting stories that actually keep people watching. After that, building a real community. And finally, we'll look at an exact playbook for launching a channel from day one.
All right, let's jump right into part 1, winning the click. Because the battle for viewership, it begins long before anyone ever presses play. It starts with your packaging. Okay, check this out. This is a brilliant way to think about it. Your video, that's the product. But your title and your thumbnail, that's the performance. I mean, you could have the best product in the entire world, but if the performance, the marketing, doesn't grab attention, nobody is ever going to see it. They're both equally crucial. So just how much of a difference can the right idea make? Well, get this. There was an astrophotography channel getting just a few thousand views per video. But by shifting his focus away from just the execution and onto the core idea, he created a video that performed 270 times better than his average. It pulled in over 1 million views. So the big question is, how'd he do it? Well, he started spending 30% of his time just on coming up with ideas, up from only 5% before. And he focused on what's called a CCN fit. That's an idea that hits your core fans, casual viewers who know the niche, and a brand new audience all at the same time. Yeah, it's a tough balance to strike, but the payoff is just massive. And this just goes to show you small tweaks can lead to absolutely massive results. Creator Tim Gabe made a pretty minor tweak to his thumbnail. We're talking maybe 30 or 40% better. And boom, suddenly the video was getting 40 times more views every single day. It's such a powerful reminder to never, ever underestimate your packaging.
Okay, so you've won the click. Fantastic. But now comes the real challenge. How do you hold on to that attention? Let's move to section 2, crafting watchable stories, and see how this all builds.
A really key tool here is the A to Z map. Basically, you have to tell your audience where the story starts and, crucially, where it's going to end. If they know you're taking them through, say, 3 big challenges, they'll probably stick around to see all 3. It's kind of like a video game map. It shows them the path and gives them a reason to follow it to the end. And that brings us to rhythm. See, the pace of a really compelling video isn't about fast editing. It's about the pace of introducing a new problems. You set up a challenge, you overcome it, and then right as the viewer gets comfortable, you introduce the next one. This constant cycle of problem and solution is what keeps the brain completely hooked. Now, these ideas, they're all part of a larger framework for great video writing. As you can see, these 10 laws cover everything from the big picture stuff down to the delivery. Some are about respecting the viewer's time, like controlling the scope and planning for a clear payoff. Others are about that personal touch, making it relatable and really knowing your audience. But one of the most important, and honestly one of the most overlooked, is to overdo your energy. The camera has this weird way of flattening your presence, so you have to consciously crank up your enthusiasm to really connect and seem engaging on screen. A single viral video is great, don't get me wrong, but a sustainable channel, that's built on something way deeper. And that brings us to our third section, turning casual viewers into a true community. So often, connection is built in the absolute smallest details. Creator Cleo Bremon, for instance, talks about switching from a slick corporate font to a standard one, just because it felt more authentic to her. These seemingly tiny choices, they communicate who you are, and they create a brand that feels human and relatable. And honestly, nothing is more human than vulnerability. In one of his videos, creator Zach King had this genuinely raw, emotional moment in a sensory deprivation tank. He was actually hesitant to even include it, but that one clip sparked this incredible outpouring of empathy from viewers who started sharing their own stories. Those are the moments that build a real community.
What you're looking at here are actually classic psychological principles of influence, just adapted for creators. They explain how that connection is built. For example, scarcity and consistency, they're all about managing expectations. You can either be that rare, high-quality event, or you can be the reliable part of their weekly routine. Reciprocity is all about giving back. When you engage directly with your early fans, they feel seen, and they become your biggest advocates. Each one of these is a tool for turning a viewer into a genuine supporter.
So let's say you're starting completely from scratch. How do you apply all this on day one? Well, for our final section, we have a super specific, actionable strategy from Matt Pat of Game Theory for launching a new channel perfectly. And his process is, well, meticulous. First, you deeply research the niche, know everything about it. Second, you brainstorm over 100 video titles before you even think about filming. Third, you launch with 5 full videos ready to go on day one to give new viewers a deep dive into what your channel is all about. And finally, you point all your existing traffic to it. And the result for him? His Style Theory channel hit 1 million subscribers in just 62 hours. But even with the best playbook in the world, there's this underlying requirement for success on YouTube, and it's a tough one. You have to ask yourself, are you comfortable failing in public? Because every video is a risk, it's an experiment, and you have to be willing to look a little dumb sometimes to find out what truly works.
And you know, sometimes the biggest breakthroughs don't come from overthinking. They come from intuition. Emmett Chamberlain's dad gave her this advice. Her unique, super fast-paced editing style, that wasn't some calculated strategy. It was just the same fun, intuitive way she used to edit funny videos for her friends back in high school. Success often lies in what just feels natural to you.
So we'll leave you with this one final crucial question. The most successful creators, they understand that just pure positivity or, straight education, it doesn't always sell. You have to wrap your substantive, important message, the vegetables, inside an entertaining, maybe even flashy package. So as you plan your next video, ask yourself, what is the valuable substance you're offering, and how are you making it absolutely irresistible?